Welcome back to the IE427 garage, everybody. We are this close to getting this car first started. It may happen in this video. I'll bring you back, show you what I got done tonight. Not a lot, but still something we needed for first start. All right, still in my work clothes. Had to bust up concrete today. Little tired, but I still had to get some stuff done to enable us to get this Coyote Gen 3 25th anniversary car ready to first start this weekend. So one of those things was to pick up some power steering fluid, because we have no power steering fluid in the entire system right now, so we got to make sure we get some in there and then go through the procedure of bleeding all the air out of the system once we get the engine running. So I picked up 3 quarts, which should be plenty. I've got another probably half quart over on the shelf. I just got the Prestone brand. I'm sure 20 people are gonna come up and tell me that I got the wrong fluid, but it's power steering fluid. As long as it power steerings and lubricates, it'll be fine. However, the coolest thing was that I took the workbench out today. I cleaned off the back of it. I've been slowly getting the tools and everything down to a minimum on the truck bed, knowing that I was going to start driving the truck. And so today was the day. Last night I made sure there was air in the tires. I made sure the oil was good. I checked the all the other fluids, and I decided, well, I got to go out for power steering fluid anyways. I might as well take the workbench with me and do a few hot laps. So it never disappoints. I love this truck. The sounds it makes with the turbo and the diesel, and it's just like, it's heaven. I love this truck. So I'm thinking I may pick the guys up from the airport in this tomorrow. We don't have a whole lot of options for any vehicles that can take more than 2 people. All of our vehicles, the Ranger, the HHR, the work van, the work truck, they're all two-person vehicles basically. So we have the wife's hot rod, and we have the dually. So the dually it is. So tomorrow we're going to pick up the guys from the airport, and then we'll include this in the first start video. So if all goes right, I'll bring you guys back tomorrow, and we'll be doing any last minute things we need to prepare ourselves for first start over the weekend. Good morning, everybody. Well, today's the day. We're going to do first start on the 25th anniversary car. We're working on getting, let's see, side pipes installed, fluids in. We're going to throw some fuel in the tank, and then do our double check on everything, and then hopefully fire this thing up today. All right, we are in the midst of getting the car prepped for first start. We've got Anthony here. Say hi, Anthony.
Hey, guys.
A lot of times it's just Anthony and I doing these first starts. We just happen to have the car owner here and his son-in-law today, and we're going to see if we can't get all these loose ends taken care of and get this thing fired up. All right, after a few missteps, we've got this thing ready to fire. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Fuel pump is running. We've got the accessories on. Stan is ready to turn the key to the start position, and we're going to see if this thing will fire.
Ready?
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Nothing?
Nothing. Confirm neutral.
It doesn't matter.
It don't matter. Clutch switch?
Absolutely. So you're going to have to either hold it down with your hand or just hold it in.
Do we want to make sure it's in neutral?
You can. I've never put it in gear.
Well, you never have?
Wheel should turn.
You're good? Okay.
Okay, let's try this again. So we're going to pull the clutch switch in.
Ready?
And we're going to fire.
Here's all the beans.
Up. It wants to start.
One more time?
A little more.
Ready. 100 pounds of oil.
All right, she started. So now we're going to monitor everything on both our oil pressure gauge and our blue driver to make sure that we've got everything coming to temp. We're going to make sure the fan comes on and all that kind of good stuff. Quiets right down, doesn't it? Okay, I'm showing the fuel rail pressure at 1,000 pounds. It must be reading the high pressure. It must be reading the high pressure pump. I'm showing the fuel pressure at 1,000 pounds. Coolant temperature's coming up 102 degrees. How are we looking back there, Anthony? How are we looking back there? Good? Yeah, it's mind-boggling, the pressure this thing has. That's why I wasn't worried about oil pressure. How's that alignment on that pump look?
She's getting low. She's getting low. Want to shut it off and check it?
Anything squirting out of it?
Still close to the belt, you want to turn it off. And open the cap.
Okay, real slow.
Checking the level.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get it in there though. We want to make sure we get fluid in the rack. Yeah, it needs to get the fluid through everything. We'll let it run a while. We'll do the same thing. We'll go lock to lock, just get the fluid in. The level will drop, and then after we shut it off, we'll bring it up, and we'll probably leave it about that far down from the cap, and it should be fine. Okay, we're all the way down to 65 pounds of oil pressure now. Right here. an exhaust leak over there. The click, click, click. Hear it? It's probably coming out of the collector. It's okay. It only says 127 degrees on the gauge. Yeah, bottom hose is absolutely cold.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have coolant running through those, Anthony. Are they warm? Because it's not in bypass until I basically open the valve and give it vacuum. It has no vacuum right now. Warm? Stan? Are they warm?
These are quite warm.
Okay. Then we're not circulating a whole lot of coolant through them yet.
Yeah, these are warm. This is not. When I try to clean it out, open it up.
It is open. If you push it, then it closes and bypasses.
Glad you caught that. Yeah. Good now. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely okay. There's quite a bit of fluid on that pump. Let's go with it. Yeah. A lot.
You can smell we're starting to burn some heat off of the engine. Well, we'll bring you guys back when we let this run a little while. We're going to wait till the fan comes on, and we'll probably bring you back in just to verify that everything's good. All right, everybody. I had every intentions of bringing you back and kind of giving you a wrap-up on the first start that day. It's actually the next day. I dropped the guys off at the airport a little bit earlier. It's probably about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Let's see. Oh no, it's later than that. It's almost 10 o'clock. Anyways, I figured I'd give you a wrap up. So we let the engine run. The fan came on, did everything it was supposed to. We put 4 gallons of coolant in this thing. So it was 2 concentrated, and we had 2 distilled water, so a total of 4 gallons. And that was all we had. And so once we got done, we know that we had water circulating because we know the thermostat opened, the fan came on. But we've still got to add some coolant. So the owner ordered some more coolant. I should have it on Monday. One of the things that we did after the first start and into Sunday was we started to fit the dash in the car. We wanted to make sure that the owner was comfortable with all of the placement of the gauges, and we wanted to have him place the gauges where he wanted them in the car. He had driven in Slytherin earlier in the day on Saturday when we went for breakfast, and he really liked the competition layout of the dash. So we kind of did a modified competition layout, which is what I have in Slytherin. I'll turn the camera around and we'll give you a look at that. And then we used the actual Factory 5 template to place all the switches in the lower bezel portion of the dash. So the ignition switch, the heater switch, and the wiper switch are all going to be in that lower bezel. We'll end up making under dash panels for this. We'll powder coat them black. It'll all be really nice when we're done. But this is what we decided on the gauge placement. So here is where we're going to have the speedometer, and there's two outlines there, but it's going to be this one here because we needed to move it down so we would miss the 3/4 inch bar, the dash hoop. And then we're going to have the tachometer right over here. We're going to have probably the volt gauge right up here. That's going to be the one that's most obscured by the steering wheel and not as important as a gauge. And then we'll run oil pressure, engine coolant temperature, and then engine oil temperature on the end. And that way all those important gauges, the tach, the oil pressure, and the coolant temperature, will all be right in line with what the driver of the vehicle can see. I think that's going to be a really good layout. Now, we did find that since we're not wrapping this in vinyl, we're going to have to make all of our holes smaller than what we would normally drill these out to. Normally, I would drill the gauge holes out at 2 1/8 with a hole saw, and that allows you to wrap the vinyl, including the padding, into each of those holes and get the gauge to be snug. Well, that's way too big. The gauges just kind of move around inside that hole, and there are gaps. So we had to go smaller. So we drilled a couple of test holes in a piece of scrap aluminum on Sunday, and what we found was that a 2-inch hole is perfect. So this is the 2-inch hole, this is the 2 1/8 hole. And so the 2-inch hole is going to work perfect because it allows us to actually thread the gauge in, and it's a nice snug fit. And then we drilled a couple of 4-inch holes, which were what I had here in the shop. So I drilled a 4-inch hole here. One of them shattered pretty bad as we were drilling it. Let's see which one it was. Is it this one? This one shattered pretty bad as we were drilling it through. You can see the chattering marks here. And it was just way loose. Now the second one we drilled with the 4-inch hole saw, we clamped the piece down really tight, and we actually got it to drill pretty well through. But you can see there was still some chattering on that one. Now keep in mind, we're going through aluminum. The dash is carbon fiber. There probably won't be any chattering, but there was still a lot of slop. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with a 3 7/8 hole saw, and I'm going to see if I can't pick one of those up at the hardware store tomorrow. And then inside the car, we worked on getting our pedal pads installed. And so if you look at the accelerator pedal pad, or the pad that's left there from the control pack for the Coyote, there's a bunch of holes drilled in it. Those are for our AC custom machine pedal pads that we got from Mike Forte. So Mike sold us a single along with the pair that we already had, and so we mocked those in place, and I need to pick up hardware for those. We just ran them in with whatever hardware I had here at the shop just to kind of get it in place so that we knew that we would be able to get the pedal pad in without having to pull the entire accelerator assembly out. So that is all ready to go, sans hardware. I just have to pick up the hardware. So I figure I'll pick up the hardware at the hardware store tomorrow along with a hole saw, and then that'll let me kind of get a jump start on that kind of stuff. And then after I get the holes drilled for all of the gauges, I'll be working on the dash. And the dash is going to take me a while because even though I've got the dash harness pretty much all squared away, I want to make everything nice and neat, and I want to make it so there's an easy way to disconnect all of the heater switches, the ignition switch, the wiper switch, if the dash ever has to come out. And then remember, we want to go ahead and add brackets to the bottom of the dash here so that all of our mounting screws are below the actual body of the car. So if you just mount them here to the hoop, those screws will be covered. The one in the middle, you might actually get it to sneak under, but chances are it's going to be really close. So we're going to add a piece of 1-inch aluminum angle, about 2 inches long, in each of the locations on the ends, and then one in the center, and that'll give us our mounting locations for our screws. And the bottom will be held in with our under dash panels, and I think we'll be all set. So once I get all the holes drilled for the gauges, I'll get the glove box installed, I'll get those angle brackets on, and then the dash will go in, and we should be able to finish up the wiring for the turn signal switch and a lot of the other stuff that's in here. So a lot of stuff's going to happen probably in the next video, but I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. this is probably going to be a long first start video. I mean, hell, we've got, what, 2 cold starts and 1 first start all in one video. So it's a lot to digest. I'll let you guys go. Again, thank you for every view. We appreciate it. If you're enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.